What's up, y'all? Welcome back, man. It's your boy D-Friend. We're here for another 3 times in 1 week. We are back again to dive into the show, dive into a couple of topics. So if you're here watching the live or if you are here watching the replay, salute to you. Hope you had a great week with us. We had a great time being here with y'all. It's your boy D-Friend.
Boy B Neil was goody.
I don't even know what episode number it is, but we got a couple things that we want to dive into today and discuss. So it's a lot. We got Takeoff's killer has been caught. Deion Sanders. Is Deion Sanders holding the HBCU? Is he? Well, we got to get into that. I want to kind of discuss the Hitler thing with you, the Time magazine thing, because it's interesting seeing you talking. I don't know if it was a girl or a guy. I don't know who he was talking with, but watching that. So where you want to dive off into first?
I feel like the Deion Sanders is an interesting thing to talk about.
Okay.
And there's nothing that's too deep, but I find that it's pretty interesting. I like to get into that one.
Okay, so just to give anybody background who doesn't know about what's going on, Deion Sanders is leaving Jackson State after the SWAC championship game to head and take his talents to the University of Colorado.
It's official.
Well, that's what they all saying.
Oh, okay,
that's what I was reading.
I mean, they were saying it's mostly official, but after the game, I didn't see the confirmation. I didn't see a press release or a press conference or nothing about it. So
now it's saying Colorado offered Deion Sanders over $5 million per year. Geez, I don't know, as far as coaching world, that's a great thing. The Athletic posted 49 minutes ago, Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State to be Colorado head coach. So it's like some people are saying offered, some people are saying they're leaving, some people say he's preparing to leave. So it's like a bunch of different, elements going on with Deion Sanders right now.
At this point,
and most likely he's probably gonna jump ship.
Yeah.
5 million years,
I just want my mama to know, even though she probably don't watch this. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so.
What would you tell her?
Well, it was in the group message, me, my brothers, my sister, and her, and we were just talking about basically Deion Sanders and what he's doing for HBCUs, and we all acknowledge what he was doing as far as trying to bring that culture and bring the top recruits that's black back to the HBCUs and stuff like that. And we all talked about it before. Will it ever happen? Can it happen? And Deion seemed to kind of be, fulfilling that role. But me and Bailey kind of seen a little bit ahead of things and kind of felt like he probably wouldn't stay there long for whatever reasons. But I forgot the main arguments back then, but we just had a kind of feeling that this was like a leapfrog, and I think it's nothing wrong with it. It's just how he made it seem.
I think this is one of the things that you have two conversations. You can have a conversation of, in what career path wouldn't you want to elevate to the next level? If you're right here, you want to go to whatever the next level is deemed to be, right? So
it's different in sports though.
No, I'm saying, like I said, I think it's two different conversations you can have about, especially about Deion and the way he marketed himself with this HBCU thing. You could be, you were a sellout, or you could be like, hey, it's just a man progressing his career.
I don't think he's a sellout.
Because any other coach, just say any other coach who gets bounced into another team knows damn, why he leave it? It's it's opportunity over there. Why wouldn't he go from this level to this level? And I don't know if also this. Let me say this. So would you rather be a good the best team in SWAC or I don't know how good Colorado is. Are they good? Do you know you college football watch?
No, they suck.
Like I said, would you rather be a shitty team in Colorado or would you rather be a great team for Jackson State? Because the thing about getting those players, this is the first thing I thought when I saw that Deion Sanders leaving Colorado. The first thing I thought was, is that number one guy that he got that couple years ago, that quarterback, Deion's leaving. Are you going to stay there? Or are you going to be like, you know what? I'm about to hit the transfer portal, and I'm about to go to Alabama or whoever the hell
he
else.
Leaving along with all the other top recruits that came because he had that type of coaching staff that he had there.
Yeah. Because I seen some people saying, he did what he was supposed to do. He built that program up. You know how easily a program could crumble? You could lose an entire program just off a head coach leaving, a couple of players leaving. Yeah, they're the best team in the SWAC. But like I said, it's because they got this number one recruit cornerback. And they probably got other, not saying they were number 3, number 4, number 5 recruits, but a couple of probably top level guys that these other SWAC teams didn't have access to because they're not going to play with Deion Sanders. They're not going to be on TV. They're not going to be publicized as much. Jackson State's the most publicized HBCU I've ever seen. So now it's okay, Deion's gone. We don't know who the hell the coach is going to be. I'm the number one recruit. My goal is still NFL. This college shit, this is cool. I made a statement as, being the number one guy going to HBCU. But it would have made more sense to me to stay here if Deion was staying because his thing was HBCU, HBCU. My thing is like HBCU, HBCU. Oh, he leaving? Shit, I'm leaving too.
Yeah. And I feel like the only way you can make the case is he built it up before he left is if he stayed there like 5 to 10 years. I'm not saying he had to, but that's when that school becomes a brand. It becomes its own thing. Now, 2-3 years in, that's not enough to be like you built that school up. I'm sure they got some look. I'm sure they got some money, funding, maybe even got some new facilities, but I'm that only gonna go so far. Now, I'm not mad at him. Let's get this twisted, but when he says a certain thing and then he doesn't, I look at it a certain way, just like all the other coaches that do this. Like, let's be real. He's not the only one, and they say other coaches do it, and they are just as wrong. These dudes promise these dudes all type of looks, and then they transfer. Then a new coach come in, don't want to give these guys a look anymore, and that holds the player because they could have went somewhere else. Demetrius, can you hear me still?
Yeah, I get you.
Okay. Demetrius Davis, which played for North Shore, 3-time champion quarterback, just like Kyler Murray was 4-time championship in Texas. 6A, same thing. Was supposed to go to Virginia Tech, but ended up going to Auburn. But when he went to Auburn, the Auburn coach ended up leaving. So if he would have went to Virginia Tech, he'd be starting and all this other shit. Now he's at an HBCU because Auburn wasn't going to give him a look, and the coach even admitted it. So it's like a lot of players get put in fucked up positions because that transfer portal ain't nice, and people don't remember your name after a year or two had passed. So,
especially when you sitting somewhere, you ain't really showed like the Hunter guy. What's his name? Hunter. He's gonna get somebody's gonna pick him up.
Yeah, he's a DB, so it's different as a DB. But Demetrius Davis, a quarterback.
Yeah.
People gonna be like, well, that ain't the type of style I want. All type of shit they can say. The cornerback, ain't nobody taking the passing up on a bad cornerback. That's just common sense. But I said I'm not mad at him. I looked at the words a certain way because he ended up you got to think about like the irony because he even got into an argument like 2 or 3 months ago with another coach.
The coach from Grambling State, I think.
He like, I am swag, and it's like,
are you? Now you're like, what's that? What are you like? Pac-12? Like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Southern American Conference? I don't know what that. What is that? I don't know what.
No, he Pac-12 now. He Pac-12.
Oh, Pac-12. Like, oh, you're Pac-12. You're not swag. I'm swag. I'm still here at Grambling. Now, the best thing for Jackson State for them to do is to get another high-profile black. Like, y'all got to call Michael Irvin now. Y'all, hey, Mike Irvin. Hey, come on down here for a couple of years, man. Come rock with us as we get some of these recruits. Because, like you said,
it ain't gonna work.
The recruits. Like, do you think Deion's gonna take his son with him to Colorado?
That's what I'm hearing.
Like.
That's what I'm hearing.
You would take our star quarterback and our star defensive player and bounce.
I don't even think the defensive player would go. Like, why would I go to Colorado with you?
I'm not saying he's going to Colorado. I'm saying he just bouncing. He's going wherever he want to go. Like the college football is not his oyster. He's back to recruiting phase. He's about to start doing official visits. Like he's back on the market. So it's like on one hand I can see how people are like, oh, that's some hoe ass shit. But on the other hand, it's like, bro, it's like, you elevating your career. I think maybe if you'd have went in there just on some like, hey, I want to do this coaching thing. This is fun. I want to get this program back better. But when you do all that, I'm swag, I'm this, it's like you thinking, it sounds like you're there for the long haul. When they start bringing up Power 5 conferences, when you're talking with that 60 Minutes report, you're like, we just got to get big up front. Like that's where the Power 5 and us differ. Like as far as DBs, corners, and wide receivers, you can kind of intermingle those guys at the next level. This is his course. I'm not like a big college guy, so I don't know if that's really true. But
no, yeah, he's 100%.
It's the big guys. It's the offensive line, the defensive line. That's where the difference is in us and Power 5. And he potentially, if he stayed there another 2-3 years and they went 11-0 this year, he probably could have recruited some big name guys to come down there at Jackson State, and maybe took the leap and got them into a different situation. But like I said, he was already talking about that shitty facilities. He even said in the 60-minute interview, the guy asked him, if you got offered a big deal from another thing, would you take it? And he said, I consider it. Like I'd be stupid not to consider doing this move.
Yeah, I mean, you can put it in that lens. The reason I consider it nasty is because he went to Colorado. He didn't wait for Texas or Ohio State.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That is true.
He jumped at the first opportunity, not just any opportunity. And my thing, that's why I said earlier about football and sports being different, is because you can take a team that has historically been shit and turn them into a national team or the Americans team, essentially. Like the Chicago Bulls are historically ass. Jordan got there, they're good. And there's many other teams that's been like that where we never expected them to be good. And now they're doing something. And then that funding come in. the money from the playoffs, the money from the championships, the endorsements from being good, for being in the spotlight. He could have took Jackson State to a D1 level, and who knows where he can went after that. And I mean, maybe you don't call it SWAC anymore because you're in a PWI conference, but the fact that it's still a black school, black funding, I feel like the rest of the school probably will still be tied to the sports. It'll just be football that's in Pac-12. None of the other sports will be in it. So that money will still go to that school and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. I just feel like
if I'm ignorant, whatever. But Jackson State is still it's a D1 AA. It's not a D1 D1, right?
Yeah,
it's
D1
like a Sam.
AA,
It's like a Sam Houston State.
It's an FCS school.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like Sam Houston State and shit like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Deion, if they offering you $5 million, this is the thing too. This is the narrative around him now. If he goes to Colorado and they're ass, like trash, I think people will shit on him. If you go to Colorado and they're good, people will forget about this. I think they'll be like, hey, wherever Deion goes, Deion wins. So it's like, he just elevate programs. And that's what, and if he wins there, I think that he looks at this as, okay, boom, I go from Jackson State, then boom, I go to Colorado. If I do good in Colorado, that elevates me to the Florida State role, I mean, obviously Nick Saban's Alabama, but Alabama, Texas A&M, Auburn, USC, Clemson, like that's where you get those looks. I feel like once you bounce from Colorado to there, but people on Twitter they're killing, they're killing them. It's gonna be like that, especially when you got the whole, like you said, I am SWAC, and it's like, okay, 2 months later, you're not SWAC, you're Pac-12.
So the thing about Colorado and the difference between FCS and obviously the SWAC is they let Deion Sanders be a superstar, do what he wanted. Basically, he was able to cultivate or organic, like just culture that was based on blackness. And that has a lot of freedoms and a lot of things that Colorado is not going to look at the same way because they're traditional. Even though they suck, they still going to feel like they know better and they want to do it the Colorado way, the Buffalo way. Like you having rappers in the locker room ain't going to look the same as it is when you're doing it in the whatever. And I'm not saying you can't do it because I know LSU did. I'm just saying everything is not going to be the same. Like, I feel like what he was able to do at Jackson State and how he was able to flip that culture that fast, it was a big part of it was built on the influence that he brought there and the players and coaches that he was able to just make that team like fundamentally sound, along with the energy that comes with having a swagger. I don't think he's going to be able to do neither one of those things the same in Colorado, because even if you do build an influence, it's not going to be enough to be like, I'm competing with UCLA or
I'm
Pac-12.
looking at they won one game this year.
Yeah. And it
was against Cal. Like, I'm looking at that schedule, bro. Y'all got to play Washington, who's ranked number 9. Utah ranked number 12. USC's ranked number 4. I mean, they just lost, but they ranking at one point was number 4. Oregon 15. Oregon State ranked 16. UCLA is ranked 17. It's like, bro, you got all these ranked people.
They was top 10 earlier this year.
You have all these ranked people in your division. It's not like the SWAC where you can eat. Like, think about it. We'll be TSU, bro. Like, we could have tried out for TSU football, probably made it. Like, it'd just be like niggas who trying on. Like, you able to use using your name to bring players to the SWAC to Jackson State that would otherwise be in either bigger FCS whatever one schools or kids who would be in actual like D1, Pac-12s, SECs, whatever, right? You have to recruit them to your school. At Colorado, it doesn't have that same allure because like you got to know if you go with Deion to a lower skill level institution, y'all are probably going to win. But are you going to be doing enough in the amount of time you have to beat a USC and Oregon and Washington, Oregon State, UCLA? Because you have to at least beat those Utah. You have to at least beat those 6 teams that are all your conference. So what's the chance y'all go from 1-10 to next year going 10-1, 9-2, 8-3, 7-4? Like, what's the probability you beat this team?
It's phenomenal. But
I got your ass about Air Force. And Air Force may be good. Like, I might be talking about my ass, but like Air Force beat them 41. Air Force beat them 41-10.
They're like 5-5 or something.
They first game they play against number 3 TCU. So y'all playing these ranked people, and TCU's not in their conference, but still, like, you play TSU first game, they beat y'all 38-13. Yeah. Minnesota not even ranked. They beat y'all 49-7. Like, it's uphill. It's probably just get the money. Like Deion, he's a legend. Two sport, all pro, whatever. Already solidified in the thing. So that's how it go.
Also, for my last point of view is I seen Liberty College. They're FBS team, I think, but they recently jumped to FBS. I don't think they always been to FBS. It's the dude Malik Wright. He just got
Yeah,
drafted
he
to
got drafted in
Tennessee.
the top whatever.
They've been recently good, and I believe they made that jump recently. I couldn't pull it up in the time we was talking, but I looked at that coach's salary and guess how much he's making?
How much?
$4 million a year. Liberty's good. They beat I think they beat one of the SEC teams this
I mean, it
year.
looked like this year they moved into the top. They had the 23 because they beat BYU.
They beat BYU. They beat another SES team. Last year, I think they went undefeated. This year, they was almost undefeated until they lost some big games late down the road. But I think they made that jump, and he's making $4 million a year, and he don't have none of the name and shit like that. So just imagine if he stuck it out, what type of contract he would have got. Because I don't believe when it comes to college football coaching, $5 million is really, I think, is average. Honestly, let me look up college football salary.
Well, I'm looking right now. Back in 2019, when Liberty moved up to the FBS, they was talking shit. They said this is a bad plan. Liberty's making a big mistake, and like look what you said. They moved to the top 25. Like
beating SES teams. I mean,
it couldn't be that big of a damn mistake. So if you're getting ranked in the top 25, Liberty got ranked as high as 19 at one point. So pretty much you saying that Jackson State could eventually become the next Liberty, essentially. I mean, that's what I said. Like getting number one recruit, you could become that. But I guess now Deion Sanders has stunted their growth, and I would assume that Jackson State is going to go probably back into irrelevancy, unless one of the coaches staff he has there stays and they kind of keep that. They might not be able to get the players right, but you can still probably garner enough attention to at least beat people in the SWAC. You know what I'm saying? Probably win your conference. Like I don't know if you're gonna be able to move up, but you can still beat people within your conference. So hopefully that coaching staff is able to hold it down for them there and do all that. Because if not, and I guess too what you said, they don't have that allure. Like, you ain't gonna have like Jackson State. Like it was all cool now. Rappers were wearing y'all shit. They was coming to y'all games. Gillian Wallow was giving motivational speeches. All that type of shit. That's a rap now. Like they're all going to Colorado now to do that. So you don't even get that type of allure with the whole Jackson State Deion Sanders situation.
I'm looking at salaries for college football coaches. He'll be getting paid within like the top 20 of coaches, so that's not bad. Like Steve Sarkisian, that's the Texas football coach, is getting 5.4. Chip Kelly's getting 5.6. If we jump up, I know you probably heard of Jimbo Fisher for A&M, 7.5. Lane Kiffin, 7.2. Jim Harbaugh, him for Michigan, $7 million. Brian Kelly, 9.5. Kirby Smart at Georgia, which has been winning lately, and Debo, he getting 11. Debo Swinney for Clemson, he getting 10, and then Nick Saban is at 11.7. So I mean, I can't be mad at that.
You gotta think that there's a Colorado. The people you just named, we're talking about LSU. We're talking about storied franchises with mega boosters who are probably padding that salary. You know what I'm saying? Like Alabama, come on, Clemson, especially UT. Like, I mean, but you say he's just making $5 million. He should be making shit. If you're gonna take that Texas coaching job, I know they ain't been the greatest, but you should at least be getting 7, 8. So
with that name.
Yeah, just with Texas name alone, like you should be getting 7, 8. Like I said, go get the money. I'm not really mad at it. It's just like I can see how people can be mad at it. Like I can see how people could be like feel a certain type of way.
Shout out to No Understanding. Man, he did them kids wrong. You know damn well Hunter and his 2 sons finna leave. I didn't even know he had 2 sons. So y'all doing lives every night.
We're doing lives when we feel it, man. When we feel it, when the spirit's calling, when we hear it. That's how we rock it. You feel me? Just hopefully there's enough content to talk about coming up on Tuesday. But
yeah, no bullshit. But it always is.
That's how we rock it. So I mean, that's pretty much. There ain't really too much. There ain't really much you can talk about the Deion Sanders shit. Like that's pretty much it. Just a slander you get on Twitter, because he's leaving. I mean, you just the way you built that up, you're always going to be looked at as a traitor, a sellout, just because it seemed like you was down for Jackson State for the long haul. But what he been in like 3 years already? And then his last year they go undefeated. 2, 2, 3. Okay, yeah. But then it's like, okay, you leave. You take our quarterback, and obviously our number one cornerback's probably going to leave, not with you, but to another high-ranking, institution. He's trying to get to the NFL still. So I wonder how that goes for them.
Right back down to the bottom of the SWAC.
Not even just them. Whatever other top type of level recruits came, and when I say top, they obviously wasn't number one like Travis Hunter, but maybe ranked number 130 on the ESPN 150, who was never going to go there. I'm gonna decide.
They probably would have had some. They
number
probably had
90.
some D1 offers, and just they seen number one Travis Hunter going there. Shit, man, I guess I'd go there too. Like Deion Sanders there along with this coach, that coach. Cause you remember it was a star list of coaches that he brought from the NFL. So yeah, it was some good marketing.
Yeah, like I'm looking at it right now. Like okay, so they had this was Travis Hunter's came. So they had Travis Hunter come, who was ranked number 1. They had a guy named out of St. Louis, wide receiver. He was ranked number 54 in the nation, and then it dropped off to this guy Tavon Beasley, who's ranked number 798 in the nation. Then a couple no ranking guys. Then we have a guy who's ranked number 171 in his state. Another guy ranked number 19 in his state. Another cornerback. And then they had a couple of people that transferred over to them. I think that's probably why they got the wave of their good people. There's people who transfer from other schools. They had a guy that transferred from Fresno, South Carolina, ULM, Utah. A guy transferred from A&M, Florida State. Another Gamecock guy, Florida State, University of Miami. Like these guys normally wouldn't transfer this place. So like they did, and now they're probably going to leave. So, I mean, I don't know. Can you transfer multiple times?
Yeah, if you have a good reason.
Okay.
And your coach is leaving is a good reason nowadays, I believe.
And they had the 75th overall ranked recruiting class that year. Jackson State did. But if you look at the recruiting classes around them at 75, you have like UTSA,
that's high.
Marshall, Buffalo, Tulane, San Diego, Wake Forest, Arkansas State. You're not going to probably see any SWAC teams until you get to the goddamn, you know what I'm
saying? Yeah.
To the bottom of the damn totem pole.
Yeah. So, top 70 in recruiting, not bad.
Yeah. But yeah. We'll see what happens with him. Like I said, if he does good, they'll forget about it. If he sucks, they'll say go back to Jackson State and lift them brothers up to, like you said, what they did with Liberty, lift them up to the top. So, all right, what's next on the docket for the night? We 20 minutes on Deion. I wanted to.
Well, I mean, let's get into it, man. Flying Low brought it up. Why not get into it,
Adin
man?
Ross interview Kanye. So I saw the clip of Nick Fuentes. He was like, what I'm saying now is because I was watching Nick Fuentes thing. He was saying that him and Kanye got a social media account where him and Kanye run it. So this just telling me Nick Fuentes is essentially Kanye West communication advisor, or whatever, if he does ever run, right? This guy's going to run his communication. This guy's going to run who does he interview? What does he say? What quit? Like that type of person within your presidential campaign, right? So he said verbatim, he was like, well, I don't say verbatim, summary. This week coming up, we're going to meet with a couple of Jewish, do a couple of interview with Jewish people. The first one we got on the docket is Adin Ross. He said it like he was sitting down with like MSNBC tonight, or like a high profile like Adin Ross. Don't get me wrong, he's high profile as a streamer, right? But the way he said it was like he's about to sit down with like a Jewish intellectual and contextualize his opinions and his thoughts. And you get on there with a fucking streamer who literally, if you see the clips going around by Adin, he just figured out what fascism mean. He couldn't read what an ultra nationalist was. He was like ultra analyst. It was like he didn't know he couldn't read the word totalitarian. I can't even say the word, but. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever.
If I can read it, I don't know the word.
Totalitarian. Totalitarian.
I gotta see the word to really read it, but I can't think about it on my brain. But anyways, my point is, once again, it's not a good thing. I tweeted, I said, Adin Ross should not be interviewing Kanye. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, Joe Biden got interviewed by Cardi B, so...
and what did we say? That should not have happened. Thank you for bringing that up. That should not have happened. There's no reason that she should sat down with Joe Biden. There's no reason.
Democrat tactics, man.
But bro, there's no for Adin Ross. I think it's stupid for him to do it, because if Kanye goes on Twitch, it says same thing he said Alex Jones. You're gonna risk, like, I get in the meantime, it's gonna be a bunch of views, right? You're gonna risk your channel getting completely banned from Twitch to bring on Kanye to essentially maybe say the same thing. Like, he might not do the same things. Let's say he's able to control Kanye in a certain type of way. But you think if Alex Jones can't control Kanye, if anybody anybody else can't control Kanye, you think Adin Ross is going to be the guy to control and have a great dialogue with Kanye West? No. Nick Fuentes is smart. He's looking for places Kanye can go, just say whatever the fuck he wants with limited pushback. And that's what Adin Ross says. This is their next Jewish interview. Like,
that's funny as fuck.
Come on, bro. Like, it's bullshit. I tweeted in the word, it was like L Tech, and I was like, when I say that, you know what I mean. Like, I mean, if this is like, hey, fuck it, we're here for entertainment, then yeah, fuck, do what you want to do. Like, fuck it. But I look at this as another white guy about to take advantage of Kanye during the spiral, make money off it, and he roll on with it. And that's all he's gonna do. He's gonna roll on to the next one, and he's gonna roll on to the next one, whoever let him just sit there and speak. Because obviously Kanye can't take people kind of Tim Pool didn't really push back on him. He just said, I don't want to say who they is, but then he stormed off that stage. So Kanye's want to find places with huge audiences where he can just sit down and say whatever he wants to say. Because you got this Kanye thing with Adin Ross is going to at least be. He had Andrew Tate on. Andrew Tate was like what 200,000? I think 250 when he had. You got to assume with Kanye how much buzz around him. It's going to be at least 300, 350, probably 400, probably 500,000 people watching it. And it's smart too. I thought about this when I was thinking about, okay, so y'all went to Temple, probably try to get that like our age, maybe like Temple's audience, like our age, 28 to 35 range. Alex Jones viewers, it can range, but you got he's probably a little bit older range of people. And then now I'm about to go to the young 15, 14, 13-year-olds. I'm going to say what I got to say over here. So he's trying to knock off all demographics, essentially, or at least all age ranges with each stop that he goes along. So, but I think it's like you said, why you don't sit down with like some black platforms? Like, you ain't got to sit down with the Breakfast Club, but like, I don't know, go sit down with like Rizza Islam. You're going to go talk to somebody who's canceled or whatever. Go talk to Rizza Islam. Go talk to like 19 Keys. Like, go talk to one of these. Like, I don't know. Go talk to one of these guys.
You think Nick Fuentes know who the fuck they are?
He said he knows who Rizza Islam is on the No Jumper thing. So, but like I said, they want to go somewhere where they can just say whatever they want. That's why they wouldn't go to it like a Rizza Islam or whatever, But Rizza Islam probably let him say whatever he wants to. So,
my thing, if you go to them, you don't really have to say anything. You could just kind of talk, and they'll lead you into the conversation that need to be had because they know a lot more than what you need to say. But
pretty much,
I mean, at this point, I'm waiting on Kanye to start peaking on idiocy because he's not. It just keeps going higher and higher. Every time I think he can't go higher, he breaks a new level. Like, my God.
I see this. Imagine different trigger and talking points as what Nick is to Kanye.
That's pretty accurate.
I wouldn't even say that because I ain't gonna lie. When you like, I never heard Trill speak, so I don't know if he can speak eloquently. Or I know all his music takes are fucking horrible, but when I look at the dynamic between Nick and Kanye, when I listen to each one of these people speak, Nick seems to be the one that's more, a better orator, a better, person who can disseminate knowledge better than Kanye. Kanye, like you said, Kanye believes he's at the batter rim. I'm gonna say something inflammatory, and then y'all just coming behind me and say. The intellectual in 1937, actually, the Nazi Party. That's the type of shit that Nick Fuentes is to Kanye. Kanye's
I'm not about to music. I'm not about to get to the comparison.
I'm just comparing. I'm just trying to be technical. What's really
I was like, it was a joke, deep.
Like I said, I've been doing all this goddamn research. I'm getting real fucking technical. I'm getting real serious with the goddamn conversations.
It's more to say that you would be careful to be watching Trail because he said some risky things and done some risky
Trail
things.
just says,
that's more the
like when he's talking about R. Kelly's my boy and all that. Like, I wouldn't be actually R. Kelly. You know what? Actually, R. Kelly was right about what he did. These young girls, like, they're whores. Like, they keep coming on to him at 13, 14 years old. What do you expect them to do? Like, that'd be like, Trail, give me that type of shit when I'm fucking 40 years old going through a goddamn midlife crisis.
But even furthermore with Nick Fuentes, man, in what world has he shown the capabilities of leading a camp? Where on his resume is it shown that he know how to move and operate a brand?
Well, I would say
multi-millions.
I don't know about multi-millions. I will say he has been able to cultivate his little, not even little, I'm not going to try to discredit his movement, but like he has been able to cultivate a new America First. Like they have these CPAC thing, Democrat thing, obviously not as big as those things. Those are like mainstream things, but he had one year, he said about 100 people. He had another one next year, about 500. He did another one at convention center. It had like 1,000 people plus. He's got people who's actually sitting in Congress coming to speak at his thing. So he's created a movement. Like I said, I don't think it's a mass movement, but he's created some type of movement for his specific ideology at the moment. I don't know how big it can grow to. I don't know how small it could be, but he's been able to galvanize a lot of people into his ideology and movement.
Yeah, I don't know if it's his ideology. I think he may be tapping into an ideology that's already out there.
Well, yeah, that's most people do. It's like you read something and then you just interpret into whatever you want to do.
My thing is, he's creating a YouTube platform essentially in real life, but that's not the same as a brand like Kanye. Like,
yeah,
that's like an individual person. The only reason I say this is because you gotta think about the different like roots that Kanye has to make sure he take care of. Like he can't upset the black people. He can't upset his music fans. He can't. Like, it's a lot of different things that if you want to be talking about Kanye, he should be careful for and be looking for. Obviously, he's not doing that at this point in time. But
Yeah.
someone like Nick Fuentes, I just don't see them as being adept as far as wisdom of the demographics that Kanye needs to keep, all his different things going. I just don't see it happening.
I mean, it's like I said, I don't think they care about that. They care about just pushing their message. They just care about pushing their message to them. Like,
I'm talking about Kanye being an idiot. I ain't talking about them. Well, obviously, they're gonna do what they do. I'm just talking about how Kanye idiocy is peaking because how could you possibly let a dude that you like he never shown
you just met him.
Like,
you just met him 3 weeks ago. And you got him running you across the country doing all these things.
I could see if it was some old wise 60-year-old like Quincy Jones or somebody that's been around, got all the connections. He's mentored several people. Maybe like you say Wayne, he got Drake under him. He got Nicki under him. He had Tiger. Of course, you would be like, oh yeah, I'll be under him because like someone that's proven. Like I could see that somebody maybe older than you or someone that's whatever game that you in has been there longer than you, but you dealing with somebody that's
you would say this. You would say because you speaking specifically music, right? But you're not saying you're talking about music, but you're talking about music artists because it's easy to kind of correlate who and what.
Yeah.
You would have to for politics. You got to get around an actual kingmaker. Well, that's what you call these people. These political campaign men, like a kingmaker. Like it's easy. Like I could fucking throw Kanye anywhere because he's Kanye. I could throw Kanye and Alex Jones and just let him say whatever. Like I don't got to do anything. Now, if you got a political advisor around you who's brought up a low-level U.S. representative who nobody knew except for the people in their representative town and made them the president or made them the next senator of that state or made them attorney or whatever you've done, that's more of a, maybe you should go speak with them. But a guy who's going to use his connection that he has with all the canceled people who have big audiences, Alex Jones. I mean,
people that you can easily get in contact with.
Kanye doesn't need Nick Fuentes to get on Alex Jones. He don't need him to get on Tim Pool. He don't need him to talk to Adin. He didn't need him to talk to anybody. He already was on Pierce Morgan and Tucker Carlson without him. So it just makes sense he can get on these other shows without him. But, Kanye was looking for people to, get around him and love him and, give him ideas and support him. And because I was even watching, I watched Nick Fuentes thing, the clips of it the other day. Because he was discussing like what transpired with Alex Jones shit. Because I'm trying to stay up. Okay, what are y'all side talking about? What is this side talking about? He was saying, I think my camera just cut off, but I'll finish my point. So he was saying that he wasn't surprised by Kanye and all the Hitler conversation. He said, we've been talking about that type of thing for weeks now. We've been speaking about going into depth about this. And that's why I brought up the thing. Like, you never heard Kanye saying the word Zionist and Israel and this and that. And it shifted from music industry to now this foreign policy type of conversation because he listened to what he said and then he went over and implemented into his, his mouth. But I'll let you respond. Let me get my camera back on.
No, I don't have nothing else really to say about that topic. I don't really have much else to add to that. My damn cat's about to get into a shootout over here. But now, what more can you say about Kanye being an idiot? I can transition if you don't mind transitioning to the topic of the
my camera on?
No, not yet.
All right, I think we're back. All right, we're back. We're back here. But I mean, I'm gonna watch it. Obviously, I don't think it's a good idea at all. I don't think it's a good idea for Adin. I don't think it's a good idea for Kanye. Because you would think Adin Ross, like, you're young, right? You're a Twitch person. Now, maybe you're like, I don't give a fuck because my audience is young. They're not going to care. But you don't really want to get that whole mainstream media pressure giant on top of you. Well, then they're like, Twitch, why are you allowed? Like, you got
it's Adin Ross, though.
But still, you got the pressure is pressure. You got to think about the conversation.
They're not going to put no pressure on Adin Ross.
But they've already banned them from the platform for saying, like, little shit before.
I'm talking about mainstream media not about to trip on him like that.
If Kanye West is about to be on there, if Kanye West is the same shit Alex Jones is, he did to Alex Jones, they're gonna be on it. They're like, now we have a problem. Now we have multiple.
I didn't hear.
What do you mean?
I didn't hear Alex Jones uproar. I didn't hear like, oh my God, this is why Alex Jones was canceled.
What do you mean why Alex? What are you talking about? I'm just talking about the
What?
discussion around him being on Alex Jones.
Yeah, but it was more pointed towards Kanye. No one got mad at Alex Jones for having him on there.
Well, because he's already canceled. That's my point. He's already not. What else can they destroy him for? This is going to be. Why is Twitch
What about Tim
allowing?
Pool though?
He was on there for 3 seconds. He didn't say anything. I'm saying if Kanye goes on there with the "I love Hitler," same thing he said on Alex Jones. I'm not saying just Kanye being on there like, hey, I want to run for president. Hey, I want to do this. Like saying normal shit is different. I'm talking about if he goes on there saying, I'm telling you guys why I love Hitler because of this, that. That's what I'm saying. People are gonna go. Twitch is allowing a guy to get on their platform and say I love Hitler, and then they're gonna get dragged into that shit, and it's gonna be a big thing. And I don't know if Adin Ross will be willing to risk that for one little piece of Kanye. When you have a whole career, you got to kind of think about. I just don't see it as the smartest thing.
No, I get your point. It's definitely risky. I just don't see. I don't think he's gonna get any real select for it. You got to like. I know you. I know you watch the mainstream media and things like that, but a lot of this shit is fake outrage in the first place, bro. And at this point, the Kanye sensationalism is dying already.
Flying Low, you keep saying that he explained the love for Hitler. It's not my point of saying that isn't if he loves Hitler because I'm a Christian. That doesn't, because I'm talking about reality. Like I said, like even what I'm talking about with you, I'm talking about the reality of what's going to happen. People don't care if Kanye's saying he loves Hitler because he's a Christian and Christians love everybody. We know they don't give a fuck about that on social media.
I agree with
They just
that.
hear I love Hitler. They don't care if you're like, oh no, because God loves everybody. They don't care about that. So he can explain it, and me and you can understand what he's saying and why he's saying it. But we know in the reality that those people don't give a fuck of why he's saying it. They just saying you should never say I love in this name next to each other.
Even in with like the Alex Jones stuff, like I feel like that was way less talked about than when it initially popped off in the beginning of this month. It's just how I felt about it. Maybe because I kind of tuned things out or something, but I don't feel like even with him saying stuff that was way more inflammatory now than when he said before when it even got bigger, it was even bigger. And I just think it's dying, and I think is a representation of Kanye's action as well, because he keep trying harder, but it's like
now
people aren't.
Now, like, okay, you said I love Hitler, people got mad. Now what can you say?
He can't uprage. He's trying to find another way to outrage them or something new, but it's like it's not happening. So he's going even harder. I don't know. I just don't see it working. And only reason I said Adin good is because I'm kind of low key being funny. Like, yeah, they may go out a fucking 40
Twitch bans
drink champs.
Twitch bans people for saying cracker on their platform. Could you imagine? Like, you can't say cracker. You can barely say any little word on Twitch, and they'll ban you. Just imagine if you get kind of there talking about Jewish people. They're gonna, it's hate speech, it's hate whatever. They're gonna clip them like that. They don't care if you get 100,000 streamers. They don't give a damn. The ADL gonna be so far up Twitch's ass. They gonna be like, "Hey, I don't want to deal with the ADL." And they're gonna. I'm just telling you. You see the.
I know he'll get.
You see the leaked documents that just came out by Elon Musk. These fucking activist groups had Twitter before Elon in a damn tizzy. Because they scared. We're going to boycott your advertising. We're going to do all this bullshit. We're going to make an uproar. We seen it what the guy say about Adidas. He put Adidas in the damn chokehold. He told them, we're going to be on your ass every day. And then what they do? Gave him a shoe deal, a whole, we're going to fund your damn charity walks, whatever the fuck. They had Adidas in the tizzy. So just imagine how they're going to lip to, because what they're going to do, you know what they're going to do? They're going to go, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to start pulling, it's like the first little fucking strand. And then they're going to find everything wrong that Twitch has ever done. They had a girl on stream having sex. They had this. They're just going to pull. They're going to start trying to pull the fucking yarn. And Twitch going to be like, oh, fuck that. We ain't dealing with that shit.
I don't see it getting that serious for a white guy like Adin Ross.
It ain't going to be that serious because they're going to clip him. I mean, like I said, like Destiny, you know who the streamer Destiny is, right?
Yeah.
He got banned from Twitch for saying that trans women should not play in women's sports. So imagine Kanye talking about Jewish people on Adin Ross stream.
He back on Twitch though.
No, he's not. He's only on YouTube. He's still banned on Twitch.
Oh, okay.
He got permanently banned. Not even like 30 days here. Permanently banned on Twitch.
Maybe you're right there. Maybe I didn't know how sensitive Twitch is.
Twitch is like the most sensitive platform. Like I get why people go on Twitch, probably more better for streaming and whatever, but YouTube you can say a lot more shit and not get banned than on Twitch. But we'll see what happens. if it happens, I mean, I don't know if this is a real page. I guess it's I don't know if there's like an Adin Ross sub Twitter page that was tweeting out. Like Adin Ross wants a co-host when Ye comes on. Who should he have? There was like this guy named Banks who's like FaZe, whatever, and this guy named Mike who does a podcast with Logan Paul. The white guy who does a podcast with Logan Paul. Or should it be that Hassan guy, the political left-wing streamer who would probably I guess when him and Tate did their little thing on the stream, people like, oh, he owned Tate, he ruined Tate, whatever. So if he the best content wise, probably if you're talking about purely content, it would probably be Banks and Mike because Hassan in people's eyes, he'll like water it. He'll like obviously automatically. You're sitting next to Nick. He's a Nazi. He's a racist. And people like, no, y'all need to go at it a little bit more. Like it's just like don't just start throwing the insults out there. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if it even happens. Maybe Twitch called Adin Ross like before it happened. Like, hey, bro. I'm letting you know now. If you get talking that Jew shit, we gonna clip you. So we'll see. We'll see. But anyways, did you want to talk about the Time magazine shit?
Did I read it all?
No, did you want to talk about it? Like, what did you?
Like, yeah. It was an interesting topic.
Okay, so I get why they do it, right? You have a different like, it was still like profiting or whatever. Like, I get it because when you look up the concept of just like who has made the most news in the year, and obviously at that time it would have been Hitler, and at those other two times it would have been Stalin. So I get why you're saying it, but I also get why like the title of Man of the Year looks like a promotion of somebody, right? So it's like, and I don't even know. I don't even understand why they put that woman on there. I was reading about it. It's like she was like Nazi sympathizer. Like, what does that make her Woman of the Year?
Yeah, she probably wasn't the most talked about. I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
and even then, like, what are you basing your numbers on when you say most talked about? Like I can get it to a degree. Like, obviously, you can say Hitler's the most talked about, but my biggest thing about Time magazine and why I just think it's nasty, it's a few things, honestly, but the biggest thing is like y'all draw the line with people on the outside very clearly. Then when it's for other people that's on the other side of the fence, that line is not the same. Because I don't see a difference between Kyrie posting just a picture and people getting fucking outraged like shit, whether it was an overreaction or not. I get to a degree what people were saying. You could take this thing out of context. This can offend people because of the lack of context. When you put Hitler as Man of the Year, what does that do? Isn't that the same thing to me? And what's ironic as fuck is that Kyrie conversation just was being had. So when we see these things come out, then people can defend the Times magazine. But I'm like, you were just on the side of Kyrie, so how the fuck is this going to work, bro? Like, I don't get it, bro. If Times can call someone Man of the Year, that definitely can hurt somebody. And it definitely will offend people. And I said, just in my eyes, take Hitler out of it. Put Jeffrey Dahmer, Man of the Year. Cutting off testicles, cutting off hands, killing people, serial killer, like Man of the Year. Harvey Weinstein, Man of the Year.
See, but you got to think back in the day, they could do shit like that. People wasn't as, like we are now. They definitely can't. I don't think, I don't care how controversial somebody is. I don't think in this point, in 2022 Time magazine will never put a quote unquote evil figure, a person who done bad. Like, you won't, like, even since then, like, you could say in one of these times, you could say, let's say 2001, right? Let's just take 2001. They put Rudy Giuliani as Person of the Year, which he was the mayor of New York, obviously, at the time of 9/11. But you could probably say Saddam Hussein or Osama bin Laden was probably more talked about than Rudy Giuliani because obviously they're the person who, constructed the terrorist attack. But they would never put him as the number one because that's something that happened to America. Now, I get what your point because, like you said, German or Jews and all that back in the day, what the fuck got this motherfucker? He's goddamn about to put us in camps and shit like that. But like we, America, I think Tom is American. They would never allow themselves to put an American terrorist, American murderer of people on magazine for Time of the Year.
Charleston White school or just put like a bunch of school shooters in the picture. Like school shooters, men of the decade.
Yeah.
Men of the decade, because they've been plaguing. Like, come on, bro. It comes off as crazy to me. And my thing is, I know
They had like dictator leaders like back to back to back. Like they had the guy I was telling you about who ran the Nationalist Party before the Chinese Communist Party. He was in 1937. Then it was Hitler. Then it was Stalin. And then it went to Winston Churchill, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Then it went back to Stalin in 1942. Like they was like back to back to back to back.
it wasn't no Beatles out or nothing that wasn't causing a wave.
Like in the 1940s.
Elvis wasn't out yet.
Like y'all telling me in all these things, y'all never had Michael. Let me go to the 80s. 82. Who's the computer? Oh, I guess the computer. The computer. I was like, who's fucking the computer? I guess the computer was in 1982. But who's more? Michael Jackson or the computer? Thriller. Like, I got the computer. But, you know, that's how I go, man, you know?
No, it's and the thing I know it's nasty because only excuse that Times could have had is like, man, we have this publication or this edition that just is a big part of our brand and we don't want to risk changing that because it may affect our money. You can't use that because like, oh, that's what a small company use. You're a huge company, a big brand. You putting out a new publication, new edition for the first time. World's most evilest man, evilest man of the year, or whatever. Like I'm sure you could have as good as media is, they could have found up some language to make it sound good of the year. And that's a new publication where basically this whole thing is based on people that has been bad or of a certain ilk of evil in a sense versus your Times magazine is left for other people of different standards and qualities and morals. So there's no to me like loss in understanding because one thing that's important to me as well is like Time magazine and media. They may not have anybody in internment camps and things like that, but they do practice a lot of the same things as communists, fascists, and dictatorships, as far as like how they put media out, how they try to control the people, how they try to control the narrative. So yes, I feel like they be putting these people out and they could be like, oh, we're trying to bring enlightening. Like, nigga, we know who the fuck Hitler is. We don't need you to tell us who the fuck Hitler is. Yeah. But I think they do it as a glorification because they low-key like their tactics and those people tactics and methods and how they moved and manipulated people. And that's why they put them on there. But as a media, they could use it as the journalistic disguise. This is why we doing it. But in my eyes, I be feeling like they low-key be worshiping and cherishing a lot of their systems. And to make it apparent, I mean, we know it because they use the propaganda that was basically evolved and elevated by Hitler, because propaganda always been a thing, but Hitler had took it to another level. And then they also took a lot of the German people end up being in a lot of our media and have been in our government. So we know for a fact they were okay with these people and in the way that they moved, because they was like, man, we could do that in our own way and use it for our own benefit and power. So that's why when I see those things, I be looking at that shit a lot deeper, because media, we know it, bro. These niggas, media and government for a fact are the most manipulative, controlling motherfuckers when it comes to the narratives they put out. And they really be no different. They just don't be having bodies. Yeah. But
like I'm looking at it, Time Person of the Year betting odds for this year. It's Vladimir Zelensky, who is the president of Ukraine. He has an 89% chance of being Person of the Year. Ukrainian people, just Ukrainian people as a whole, they have 50% chance.
That's crazy.
And then Vladimir Putin has 8.3% chance. Pro-choice abortion activists have a 5% chance. Queen Elizabeth, because she died, she has a 5% chance. Supreme Court, 5%. Donald Trump.
That's a 4%. Nasty list.
Elon Musk, 2%, and Ron DeSantis, 2%.
There's only one person that really should be it. And he's one of the least. Elon Musk. Nobody else. Nobody else. The Ukrainians are proven Nazi motherfuckers that are racist. So the people of Ukraine don't deserve no fucking award, because
you think everybody in Ukraine's a Nazi?
Oh, if it's, I don't know. No, I'm not gonna say Nazi, but I know the motherfuckers racist.
Because people would be like, we got Nazis in America, but we wouldn't classify everybody in America. Like, if we start getting bombed, we'll be like, everybody in America is a Nazi. I'm not saying, I'm not saying Ukrainian people like black people, because I'm assuming they probably don't. Like, I'm not even gonna like go on that limb. Not all of them are racist. I'm pretty sure a lot of those Ukrainians, they never encounter black people. They don't like black people. That's how they rock. But you know, they're getting destroyed by Russia. It's like you said, it's media, propaganda. It's all, you know what I'm saying?
No. I'm
Zelensky is
just
the president. Zelensky was in the middle of a war. Him and his wife was doing Vogue photo shoots. I'm like, it's wartime. We got Vogue. We got Vogue pulling up to the place. Ain't they trying to, like, I don't get what's going on here. They doing Vogue. Like, that's like, okay, that's how you rocking during wartime. We gonna pull up Vogue, I guess. But
no.
But yeah. That's the list. Supreme Court, obviously, they overturned Roe versus Wade. Then they got the abortion activists who should be on the list, and then obviously Queen.
Why Supreme Court? Oh, because they eat. Like,
it's a big story. Like when they overturn Roe versus Wade, it's like, oh my God, is America going to shit? Is America over with? You know, whatever.
Bro, imagine a woman seeing that Supreme Court People of the Year.
What? How could you celebrate these people taking away our rights? That's how it be. We a different world from the 1930s to, you know what I'm saying, to this time. Well, hold on, let me bring in context. Let me bring context. Okay. So a year after Hitler was named Person of the Year, World War II began. 1938 Olympics. Was that the year the Olympics was in Germany? Oh, that was 1936. So, anyways, regardless, we can continue whatever we was discussing.
I think that's about it with that topic.
Do you think people get mad at this? I was reading this book. It's called I don't know, white affirmative action. I guess it's talking about like how white people got ahead after civil rights movement or after something. I don't know if it's Jim Crow, how the disparity gap widened or something like that. And do you think people be mad about this statement in 2022? So John Lewis, who just passed away, was a congressperson. He was marching with Martin Luther King. He said he was talking about how they got fucked up by troops in Alabama when they was trying to, do the march in Selma and all that. He said, I had fought in World War II, and I once was captured by the German army. And I want to tell the Germans never were as inhumane as the state troopers of Alabama. So it's kind of like when we talk about like who's bad, who's not bad. Like, bro, I started really breaking that shit down. Think about that shit. Like, bro, America kind of got way too much fucked up shit to be really trying to like way too much fucked up. Like I've been saying that with like slavery and shit like that. But like, bro, we got way too much fucked up shit.
Pointing fingers
to try to be like, say, hey, well, y'all. Because I was reading one thing. It was like, an all black. I don't know if I said this on the last episode, but I was reading this thing. It was like an all black unit fought in World War II. They went into it they were a tank unit. They went into like a sub internment camp, and freed everybody. And they was like, that was in 1945. He's like, they went in there, they freed all these people, not just Jewish, but whoever they had in these camps. And then they returned home just to be under like Jim Crow laws and like all this type of shit back here in the United States. So it's like, it's we can't really be, I don't got to say too much more on that. But that was interesting because I feel like if he said that now, you're going to compare the troopers to the Germans who did this and that. It's like, bro, that's his experience. He got captured by the Germans. He said they didn't do nothing to him, but he came over here and he was getting fucked up by his own people. So it's like, that's his experience. He was in Congress for like 50 years. So that was cool taking riots when they can't wear a mask during COVID, but because they have to be more responsible with their box, they man. Okay. So I don't know what else we got.
I was gonna.
We can save some of this other shit for Tuesday if you want to. Like as far as the guy who killed Takeoff, I don't know if you recognize the guy, but I've seen this guy before who got caught for killing Takeoff. I don't know if you want to talk about that on Tuesday when probably more information come out about him, or
we can save it. I was gonna jump into this little funny thing about how America make it better. How do you feel about this California reparations, man? $223K for each Californian is what they determine black people should get. And like, bro, I know you don't mean this intentionally because I've heard this conversation beyond you, and I even said this before, but I do start to get offended when they always be like, how to tell black people how to move and what to give us. Like, oh, let's just give them an education and that should be reparations. Like, I understand the land conversation versus like straight up money. I get that because that's which one is more valuable at the end of the day. You don't know. You really don't know. But a lot of times they'll try to shape it in that, oh, we need an education. Oh, we need to give it to these people that don't really known for taking care of black people and let them create some programs for black people. And then that'll like for reparations. But the fact that California came up with a number for their citizens, which I not going to say, I'm going to sit up here and say that's a good number. And that's the number that should be like, that's the number for black people to feel happy. But I can't sit up here and say like, we shouldn't get that at least.
I wonder if it'd be more in other places.
More in other places.
Because that's based off of, from what I'm reading, that's based off of certain policies they had in California that hinder black people. So you got to think that's in California. So if you move to the South, if you start moving to the South, you got to think that money may be a lot more. You know what I'm saying? It might be
we about to start getting them max deals, baby.
Well, they might give me like half. Maybe they give me half. I don't know. My ancestry is still coming in.
We about to get them main contracts. What are you talking about, boy? We about to be salary cut. What are we talking about, boy?
Yeah, this is what the council determined. That $559 billion. I guess if you divided that by all the black residents in California, that would be $232,000 each for each of them.
I'm also
$220,000.
Can they pay that? And how do they calculate a citizen? Like, what people used to stay there? Like, how does that work? And I also would think if California do it, other states would have to do it. And obviously they'll be just like the marijuana. It'll take 20 years before the other people get their shit. But that's similar to slavery as well, where certain people was free and then before other people was free, even though the law had been passed. But more than that, once the state set the initiative and precedent, it could be had in other states. And I would assume certain people will want to win certain political things. That's probably how they'll get into other states.
But if it's a thing, you have to think about it like this. If it's a thing just for black people already vote Democrat anyways, overwhelmingly. So it's like, I mean, unless that activates the people that's not voting, then that's a different conversation.
Oh, it will definitely, most definitely.
If you're like, hey, y'all not voting, y'all need to come vote, that's okay, then that'll be a different conversation. And they're like,
hey, baby,
it's overwhelming numbers are going to be crazy.
Mouth-watering numbers because it's a negotiation. You got to start using big words, nigga, because who's bringing more to the table? Yeah, we mostly Democrats, but that money talks Republican conservatives. Bring the number up.
Depend on your state, man. Depend on your state. Like California, obviously, they Democrat. But I feel like, I wonder if this is just like a for show thing. Like this is just they had a little committee who just kind of did research and broke it down. They put this out there. But does that mean y'all set up this committee to do this, or is it just like a for show type of bullshit? Like, oh look, we just
could you even afford that?
Like, oh, because I'm looking at their according to NASBO, California's recent expenditure tools, general fund spending, total spending, including federal transfers, were $163 billion last year. So it's like you're talking about $559 billion on top of that. It's like, does that mean you got to raise taxes more in California to get this number? Do you have to do you have to get money from the feds to cover this number? Like, who do you get the money from for the $500 billion?
That's what I was gonna bring up. Cause I was like, we need a state and a fed. we need both for the reparations because y'all are both reliable for or accountable for this. Yeah, the states are liable, but America, you're no different. Them stars and stripes. Hey, they got some 0-2.
Certain states gonna be like, what the fuck did I do? Hawaii gonna be like, Hawaii gonna be like, I'm out here on the fucking water. What the fuck I do to y'all?
Have you ever heard of the king Kamehameha, whatever his name is, a Kamehameha? Black king, black land, dominated by blacks until America came over and bought it out after several attempts were trying to buy it through him, and then they caused uproar, and just like every other place, got him up out of there through some treachery and shit. I don't know if he got killed by the other dude or whatnot, but eventually they ended up taking over and becoming Americanized and taking away from that king. But Hawaii was ran by black king ancestry. So man, Hawaii, America, like a motherfucker.
Let me tell you in totality what I'm saying. So meaningful reparations that will close the racial wealth gap will cost the U.S. government between $10 and $12 trillion overall, or roughly 800,000 for each eligible black household, which not everybody, not each individual, just each household, um, give each of them $800,000.
That's
That's what I'm,
amazing.
that's what I'm looking for as a governmental, like probably like
Because
a federal.
think about that. You and Carla get divorced and create two different households and come back
They might
together.
hold. They might hold something. They might be like, y'all motherfuckers mixed. Like, what the fuck? They might hold.
Oh,
I'm like,
Carla can't get
y'all
nothing.
get her mama black. What you mean?
Oh,
They
okay,
get
okay,
y'all
okay.
get 400,000 each. I'll
You
take
get
four hundred
half. You
thousand.
get half.
Hey, I'll take it. Shit, I'll give a damn.
But I'm saying y'all split up for just the time period, so she get her 400 because they say it only per household. So we might
Yeah,
split this household up for a
we
little
about to
bit.
come back together and get that 800 for
But
real.
being funny though, say an 800 coming to that place. So technically, my granny I have 800, my mama had 800, I had 800, and my cousin have 800, Anya have 800. My family name just got a whole lot wealthier. Our connection just got a whole lot better because now ain't nobody ever gonna go bad, but we can build with each other, all this other type of shit, and everybody has some equity. So yeah, that's some good shit. That's some good shit. 800 as a household, I like that. And then if it is just say it is a few people in the household, that's still enough to divvy up, and everybody still be fucking good. But yeah, people have to be smart for sure. Because if I'm being real, 200K could be gone in less than a year, but it really can be gone within 5 years if you're not smart. But I would like to see personally a big amount along with residuals instead of just one lump sum. If you ask me,
Would you rather they give you the $800,000 number and they break that up? Like that's the only option you had. Either you get the lump sum or you get the monthly payments. What do you think would be more beneficial?
it, I had to see how those payments look. But if it's anything over, it wouldn't be 100,000 a year.
Because if you do, let's say you do 10 years, right? You do 10 years. Let's say you do the payments over. You do 800,000 over 10 years. So you divide that by 10. That's 80,000. You divide that by 12. So they give you $6,666 not taxed every month for the next 10 years.
Nah, I
You
just
can
take
still work. You can still work your job with however much money you make at your job, and get another 80,000 on top, non-taxed, and be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not bad. I would like I said, that's not bad. I probably would take I probably would I probably take the payments maybe now that I'm thinking about it because like you said, you can still do other shit and be free and all that stuff. But I think the my thing is give us like a quarter or half of that and then a lifetime payment instead of like a 10-year payment. Whether that's like 4K a year, I mean 4K a month. Like it don't even have to be something crazy or something like that. But
To each
obviously
person or each household.
household.
Because once some kids got that household, now I got to start paying these kids 4K also. Let's say I got 3 kids who's like 12. It's like we got the 800,000. Once all these 12-year-olds turn 18, then the government's like, okay, now you got to pay these kids. Now you got to pay these 3 kids 4K a month. They're like, no. Well, the reparations came to the family, and you better divvy up that 4,000 to your kids at that point.
No,
So they're just
I
doing
wouldn't
lifetime
think
payments.
if it was lifetime payments, it'll have to stop at everybody that was either born when you made the law or um if you're not an adult yet or something like that, then you can't something like that. But I don't know. I'm just saying. Obviously it do bring in some questionable things. Like once again, reparations is not a solve all problem. Because there'll still be systems in effect that's problematic and things like that. And then, like you said, that will make up for a lot of the bondage, but there's people and other kids that's gonna come into effect that's still gonna technically be affected by slavery that money wouldn't have, that money can't change in a
Mhm.
sense. So I don't know. It wouldn't. It's not a fix all, but I mean, I take the payments. I take the payments.
Yeah. Oh, Kiki Palmer announces her pregnancy on SNL. You want to dive into that?
I
But
wonder
nah,
if it's
I
a boy
think
or girl.
I'm looking NBA YoungBoy getting married. Oh, we didn't talk about Kanye dropping the bomb about Chris Paul, but we can, Did we talk about that?
A little bit.
Okay, we ain't got to jump on it again. So, anyways, I don't know how about here today. Talk about the shit we was talking about. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, hold on. Okay, you want to? I'm gonna read Deion's announcement. He is leaving. Confirmed. He's leaving. A coach gets elevated or terminated. Ain't no in between. The hardest part about this whole thing is these young men, coaches, admin, trainers, equipment team, photography team, video team, housekeeping, security, Johnny T's, fans, alumni, friends, and whoever that were truly a blessing to our program. Go see Buffs football. We coming. Posted by Deion Sanders. Oh yeah, the little thing. Okay.
Everything that's been transparent around about my whereabouts and what I'm going to do. And I like for y'all to hear it from me and not from anyone else. It is what it is. Either in coaching, you get elevated or you get terminated. Ain't no other way. You either elevated or terminated. And it ain't no graveyard for coaches where they die at the place. It don't work like that. They either gonna run you off or you gonna walk off upon your own recognizance. I've chosen to accept the job elsewhere next year. I'm gonna finish what we started. We're gonna dominate. I'm gonna be into that end and that conclusion. And then when that conclusion, we will move on. Now, what I don't want you to do is thinking, I know something is better on the other side in regards to some of you. I would like to have the opportunity to meet with some of you so you don't go and jump in the portal and you die in the portal. I don't want that to happen because some of y'all thinking it's simplistic like that, and it's not. That portal will be loaded on, is it Monday, fella? Yes. Monday.
See, they already talking about transfer and shit.
Loaded, and they're gonna call and they're gonna ask because that's
fuck them kids.
Some of y'all
it wasn't loaded when he asked them to transfer to him.
And we asked your coaches, and when we knew what kind of kids.
Okay,
and the thing is, he really like don't be trying to come over here with me. I'm about to get me some other niggas. That's really what he's saying.
I think what he's trying to say is, hey, I know I'm leaving, but I don't want y'all to, fuck up the Jackson State shit by y'all leaving too. Then they gonna go to shit and they're like, look, you left now. All the damn talent left. It's like, nah, some of y'all just stay here. Don't be hasty. Don't run off. Stay here and continue the Jackson State legacy, even though I'm going to play for the 1-10 Colorado Buffs.
And what I'll say about this, and I'll pretty much be done. What he said in the beginning is more applicable now than it was when he was at Jackson State, because if he fails there, no one to be as lenient if he had a couple of down years at Jackson State for what he produced. Yeah. Given if they would even had a down years with him. Mm-hmm. Say he doesn't do anything within the next 5 years, no real resume builder, then you're more liable to go to that graveyard that you speak of. So I get what he's saying.
Bro, even that though, coaches don't really be having a graveyard. Like, they'll suck as a head coach, and then
that's true too.
Alabama's offensive coordinator, and then they'll be there for 3 years, win a national championship, and then they'll go to the damn South Carolina and be their head coach. Then they'll suck at South Carolina, then they'll go be the offensive coordinator for Texas A&M. Then they'll pop their ass back. Like, bro, they don't really die that way a lot of times. You don't hear not the head coach. They go, oh, I'm about to be okay. I'm originally a DC. They're gonna be a DC for Alabama. Oh shit, we have a number one defense. Florida State, they want some defense. I'm gonna go be the head coach of Florida State. Oh fuck, I suck here. Now I'm gonna go back. Like, come on. You see the head coaches all the time. I be watching the NFL shit sometimes. They be like, the Chargers' amazing offense is going off this year. Or maybe it's the Chiefs. The Chiefs' amazing offense ran by former New York Jets coach Steve Spagnuolo. He's doing amazing. Like, yeah, he's doing a great job here. He sucked with the Giants. He's doing a great job with the Chiefs. Next year, he could probably get a fucking deal and go and be the next head coach of some other team, even though he sucked already for the Giants. So that's how it goes. They do if you're a black coach. What did I say? They do. All right, man. Okay, maybe you have a point with that one. Maybe you okay. I don't know where Kevin Sumlin's at right now. I don't know if he's still coaching anymore. You got a point.
He was at, I think, Arizona. No, he wasn't at Arizona State. But nah, even with Tony Dungy, all these dudes, they still be coaching.
Well, yeah, because even Lovie Smith got fired by the Bears. Now he went down, I think, somewhere. Now he's a head coach of the Texans. And yeah, like I said, they take a step down a lot of times to whatever they originally were before they became head coach.
Because I mean, what you gotta think. There's a college school, there's a scholarship school, or there's plenty of NFL teams that would want a previous head coach to be an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator with all that experience. So
Especially
you
when
get another job, you
especially
gotta
when it's like,
regrind.
especially like, Lovie Smith was an amazing defense. When he only had to focus on the defense, and you only had to worry about that. But that's all we need. We don't need you to be head coach. Worry about this. That. I need you to be our defensive coordinator. That's it. Then they whatever.
They may not get it back in the NFL, but I mean, it's not high odds that a white coach get their job back in the NFL either. Like, it ain't just a bunch of white coaches getting their jobs back. Like, it is a bigger number than blacks, of course, but obviously it's predominated by white coaches. But it ain't just like, oh, this white coach has been shitty for years. Like, it's rare that happens.
Yeah.
But I just feel like that was a cheap excuse. Like you said, even then, coaches don't die like that. So, I mean, I get it. Say what you want to say. But
and he's Deion Sanders, so it's like they're gonna just want you to come just off the strength, like because you Deion Sanders.
I ain't mad at him. I seen it coming. And I wasn't surprised.
Kevin Sumlin has went from the highs of was he at U of H at first? I think then with Texas A&M. Now he is the head coach of the Houston Gamblers of the USFL.
I mean, depending on how you look at it, it ain't bad though.
The USFL, that's a good program. United States Football League.
They just
started in 2021.
Yeah, they owned by The Rock now. They was first owned by Jeff.
I thought he owned the XFL.
Oh, what's he in?
The USFL.
Oh, I know what that is, but no, I thought he was an XFL. But he can get a college job I feel like if he wanted to. He probably just wanted to be a head coach again. He probably didn't want to grind.
Probably. He won't be at Colorado long. He would do good there for 2 years and get a bigger Power 5 job. Part of college football. But this thing too about I feel like maybe I could be wrong. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But do Power 5 conferences want somebody that's bigger than the program? I think Deion Sanders will kind of be bigger than the program.
If he can win, he can win. They don't care. But I don't see him winning in Colorado.
I see them white people doing their politics. I feel like they kind of be the only one motherfuckers bigger than the program. But it's not a knock on Deion. If he could do it, he could do it. I would like to see it, but. You said a bigger P5 job. Isn't he in the Power 5 conference right now?
I doubt he gonna do good at that school, bro. Colorado has been bad since the Big 12. Like, they have been bad for 40, 50 years, bro. You ain't go to, like, I could see if you went to Texas Tech where they have Sparksy being good, a Baylor, or even like a Washington or something like that, where some years they rank, some years they're not. Colorado ain't been ranked ever. But if he do, I will be eating my words because it'll be so fucking evident. it wouldn't be like, oh, it's just a coincidence. Ain't no coincidence with Colorado being good. So if he can do it, then salute to him. But I know football.
I'm reading the chat. Like, his recruiting is elite. Is his recruiting elite, or was that HBCU Deion Sanders thing more of a story to kind of go with than like, I'm gonna go play for the Colorado? Like, that don't sound sexy. Like, you got Deion, but it's like you don't have the HBCU narrative behind it, in my mind. So I mean, I don't know. Like I said, that's more sexy. Ooh, the number one player goes plays for HBCU. Us black men need to stick together and go for the we're gonna go play for the fucking Colorado Buffs and get our ass whooped by USC, Oregon State, Utah every fucking year. No, thank you.
I don't think his recruiting is going to be anywhere. I said this thing about the Jackson State. Because my mama said they could probably win a national championship one day. I was like, Mama, for them to win a national championship, they'll have to be in a top 10 recruiting consistently for a decade. And even then, you know how many teams that be top 10, top 20 recruiting ain't never sniffed the championship? Notre Dame.
A&M was number 1 the other year.
And fucking 5-5 this year.
UT was like number 3 or something.
Teams get so it's mixed with recruiting, it's mixed with coaching, it's mixed with a lot of shit. But
I guess to be fair though, I guess what you're saying too is like, if you're number 1 in 2022, let's see what y'all look like in 2025 when those kids are like juniors and seniors and things of that nature.
And it just, you already said Pac-12 is responsible for at least by
6 people that's in the top. 6 people in the top 20, not even just top 25. 6 teams that was in the top 20,
and that's late in the season.
2 teams that were in the top 10. 3 teams that were 17, 16, and 15. That's like right together.
And that's late in the season.
And then y'all played TCU the first game, and they were number 3. So it's like it's a little bit shaky.
His son about to get smacked on. Respectfully.
So these were the top 10. These were the top 10 recruiting classes of 2022. So Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Michigan, Clemson. The pretty much the typical, North Carolina's there at number 11, LSU, Oregon, Kentucky, Missouri, Miami, Tennessee, Florida, Stanford, and Florida State to round out the top 20.
He might have been able to steal recruits at Jackson State because, like I said, D-Fran said narrative and a lot of other things like we're going to be a good team.
And they look cool. It's a cool factor, too.
You're going to be able to shine to a point where, nigga, the tape is undeniable. Like, you're going to get an NFL look and all that other stuff. Go to Colorado and we getting our ass whooped. And we ain't 10-0. Nigga, NFL ain't going to just be up in that bitch like that. Like, they're going to be there, obviously.
Unless you a 6'8" offensive lineman just killing the game, but your whole team sucks.
But if you going against fucking USC and they haul a D line running through your shit and your quarterback getting sacked, you don't look good if your dude not getting sacked. They see the whole line giving up. Like, come on, bro. I just what you mean? Look at you. USC is a historically good school that people want to go to. Colorado up in the cold.
Does not have a historical name. It's like UT. Like UT has sucked, but the top recruits are still gonna want to listen to UT, think about going to UT just because it's UT.
Out of all the Pac-12,
if Alabama starts sucking the next like 4 years, people are still just because the name Alabama, I'll be like, I mean, it's Bama, so it's like they're gonna want to go there.
Out of all the Pac-12 schools, you got USC, UCLA, Oregon. Like, these places are in some beautiful places. I'm just saying, you're going to have a hard time getting recruits up in Colorado. I'll just be honest.
Well, I guess, like I said, maybe Deion get transferred because, to that guy's point, USC was number 1 in transfer recruits as far as the best players from transfer. But my question would be, are those transfer recruits making a big-ass difference, or the people they had already signed are probably pretty much still the premier and star players of that team? And these guys are at some point kind of like role-playing for them.
Still USC. What have UFC has been a dominant school for the last 20 years. Them getting the number 1 transfer recruiting class is not surprising. Colorado doing that just because they got Deion Sanders is. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. That Deion Sanders being a celebrity at HBCU brings a different significance, bro. Because let's be real. Tony Dungy went to Arizona State. Jim Harbaugh went to Michigan. And it took him, this is his about to be his first year even sniffing a championship. Did they win that?
Okay, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the transfer thing. Well, yeah, they got the number 1 guy.
They didn't win today?
They got the number 1. I think USC lost. I could be wrong though.
They're playing Purdue.
They may have won. I don't know. I'm not a fucking college football guy. But yeah, they got the number 1 recruit. They got the Caleb Williams guy from Oklahoma. The number one quarterback in the transfer portal is most likely not going to Colorado if he has opportunity. So the transfer thing, you got a point, but that's because they got the number 1 quarterback that was enrolled at OU already, who was probably a top recruit at his time before he went to OU. I don't see Colorado getting that number 1 quarterback. He's going to bring his son with him. And the question, too, is, can his son compete with these new defenses that he got? I know the Pac-12 isn't usually like an offense-centered thing, but can he compete against these higher-level defensive players?
Oh, no, I think he can. I college football has some shaky quarterbacks, so I'm not worried about him shining and doing enough on the college level. He ain't going to have no blocking, and you can't do nothing against that. You ain't going to have no help. When you talk about ain't no receivers gonna get open when you got USC DBs.
Yeah, and even I'm reading Flying Low said Colorado has Weed and Deion. USC has Weed. They in Cali. They in LA. They historic, but who can preach the same blackety black? But see, the blackety black talk sounds better on the backdrop of an HBCU. historically black college. Your black experience is here. It don't sound the same in Colorado. So,
and you got to be real. Once again, Defran made a significant
but
point.
then, my bad. Because I'm USC ain't been good since 2000s, and kids never seen USC be good. Great point. But like we spoke about earlier, these big colleges, there's a new thing in play here. The NIL shit, USC probably got a shit ton of money. Hella alumni with hella money.
They still got
Hollywood
a huge brand.
No, I'm talking, the brand is good. The brand is big, but like there's a reason these guys are coming to these schools. The NIL deals are there. It's a big city. It's LA. Why wouldn't you want to go there? Like if we're comparing, even if Colorado, like Bryce said, has never been good, but we still can't compare USC brand recognition, money probably from boosters to Colorado. With Deion Sanders, like that's going to be the ultimate factor. And like if you can go to a school where they're going to get you $1 million NIL deal, you're going to go there. So it's like, I don't know how Colorado's NIL program is at the moment.
You picking Colorado or Michigan? You picking Colorado or Oregon? You picking Colorado or USC? You picking Colorado or Texas? You picking Colorado or LSU? You picking Colorado or Florida State? You picking Colorado or Clemson? You just keep doing that until you probably get out of the top 25.
Yeah.
And he probably could. I'm not saying he can't get no winning records, but it's going to be hard. I don't see him winning his conference. I really don't see him being above 500. If he can do that, salute to him. I'll eat my words.
To be above, he'd have to be at least, like 6 of those teams, right? How many games they play in college right now? 11?
They play about 10, 11 games.
10, 11 games? Okay, so today Utah beat USC. But I want to see like the Pac-12 teams, like who's all in these teams. They already announced it. Coach Prime is headed to Colorado. About to start whooping their ass.
Oregon State.
Here we go. So Colorado's at the bottom. They're 1-8. Stanford, who's still Stanford used to be good. They're 1-8. They got to beat all these teams. I mean, maybe not all these teams because I don't think they play all these people, but I guess maybe who's ever in there, Pac-12, whatever type thing. But Pac-12 has
Pac-12 not weak.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 6 teams in the top 25. 6 teams in the top 25. So it's
the teams that's not are still a decent team. Arizona not. I believe Arizona not in there. Top 20, right?
Arizona, no.
And that's a good team this year. That's a good football team. But they only won like 6 or 7 games. Like
no, they only won 3 games. Oh, that's conference. My bad. That's conference. Arizona won 5 games. Washington State, they were 7-5.
That's what I'm saying. Washington State wasn't ranked, but a 7-5 team in college is a pretty good football team. So when you consider you're not the best in your conference, you lost to the best people in your conference, but you beat everybody you're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
Like that team not losing to Colorado. They'll lose to USC, they'll lose to UCLA, but they're not losing to Colorado. Like they got a good chance of being better than Stanford, but that's about it, man. If he can win 8 or 9 jobs at Colorado, I agree with you. I just don't see that happening because that's damn near about to win the conference. 1 in 9 games. I think UCLA 9-3, 9-4, and they was a game or 2 from being in the conference.
Oh, I had to pull it up.
9 games is a lot. You only play about 12.
So Utah, who went to the championship and beat USC, they were 10-3. Which I mean, they're 10-3 because they got to the championship game. So
yeah.
They'd have, like you said, they had to be 9-3 to go, unless motherfuckers go undefeated next year, another team. But they'd have to at least do that. So Deion Sanders is going to transform them from 1-11 to at least 9-3 to get to that level.
My thing is with Prime, I know it was the recruiting and mixed with the coaching. I don't think he's just going to be able to outcoach these other P5 coaches. Like, he just can't hire a bunch of big-name dudes and they can go out there and outcoach the other coaches on the other sideline on the FCS teams. I don't think that's going to happen. Along with, I don't know how good of coaches Sander is right now as far as, like, scheming up stuff, knowing what a defense, another team weakness is, how to attack it, how to build a game plan. I don't know how great that is because, once again, you was at Jackson State, the recruiting, the fact that you just had better players, that could have made up for a lot of coaching mistakes that we don't know that you may have had or did or had or not had. So all that's going to come into play and into question and be tested at Colorado. Does he have a solid game plan? Does he know how to get teams up for people that are better than them? Because it's easy to get your players riled up when they know they're going to go win or when they know they're the favorite. Colorado not going to be a favorite in any of them. So all them little cool speeches and shit not going to hit the same like they did at Jackson State. So once again, his coaching style, his everything about how he moved will be tested at Colorado. And if he succeeds, salute to him because that really means how good he is. Because succeeding here, if you can succeed here, you can succeed anywhere. But even if he's not successful, I don't think that means he's a bad coach. I just think he took a leap too early.
I think the conference is just too hard for Colorado because I'm looking at the top 25. Like UTSA probably doesn't have too hard of a conference, and they was able to go 10-2 and make it to number 23. So and their conference isn't crazy. Tulane was able to go 10-2 within their conference and be able to make it to number 18. But thinking that they're going to go out and beat UCLA, Oregon State, and these teams could fall off. Like UCLA, didn't they suck a couple years ago? UCLA, Oregon State, Oregon, Utah.
New coaching.
And what's the other team I said? USC. But yeah, okay. So you say Colorado versus Stanford or ASU or Cal. So okay, he's gonna go 3-8 next year from what you're saying.
Possibly.
Like, I'm not even saying they're gonna be horrible. Like I'm kind of with you flying low. They could probably beat them teams. I'm talking about to get to that upper echelon. We're ranked top 25 level. They're gonna have to do a lot of recruiting, a lot of great coaching.
Cal on his down years, but Cal has been known to have good years. ASU right now got Tony Dungy. They're not the greatest right now, and Stanford is on a down year. But just like how you're saying these teams are not good and on a down year, and all these other teams can go down. Those same teams can get better too. Like these other teams can get significantly better too, because all those teams that were what you said top 20. They're going to get better recruits. They probably wasn't that last year, so they're going to get better as well.
Like USC, they were good because of transfer. They're going to be way better next year because of actual high schoolers wanting to go to USC.
Along with transfers, knowing the system and getting even more ingrained in everything. Like, come on, bro. Like, so yeah, they may get better, but just you could say the same thing for everybody else in that conference. So that's not enough for me to go off of. I could just how you could say they could beat them teams. I could see them easily only beating one of them teams. Tony got fired. Yeah, I figured he had been having some pretty down years at ASU. But shout out to my guy.
Tony Dungy?
Yeah.
Oh, he was a coach there?
Yeah.
Damn. That sucks.
I'm not bashing him. I just think he made a bad decision. I don't even think he's a bad coach. Colorado, he could have held out another year, bro. Colorado wasn't it. Bro.
I like what he said. I think he probably could have went. He could have probably did Jackson State one more year and potentially went undefeated again with the amount of people he had, and then probably got a better job.
That's all I'm saying. Colorado is not.
He's from Dallas, right? He live in Dallas. I mean, I guess
SMU
it doesn't make it. Well, actually, to be fair, it would make sense, right? So he would have to go to a school that sucks. So. If TCU goes 12-0, they're not going to fire their coach for Deion Sanders. So I guess they
SMU.
Yeah, SMU. Yeah, I get. But would you say
usually ranked?
You would say they're better than Colorado?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the people that missed out on being in there. So
let me look at Colorado's schedule. But I know, SMU. They're not good this year, but they had a pretty explosive offense.
Bryce is on the bash another black man. That boy flying a little funny, man.
I think he could have did good somewhere else. They lost to the Air Force. No, yeah, SMU probably would beat Air Force. And they lost 41-10, bro. They lost to Minnesota. Minnesota only won Minnesota ain't won no. Never mind, my bad. Minnesota won 7 games this year. Oh, they won 8 games this year. I'm thinking about another team. Minnesota.
Let me look at so SMU played. SMU beat Texas State. They beat North Texas. They blew out SFA 50-7. They beat what the fuck was this? Okay, yeah. They beat Lamar. So they're in a conference that's winnable. They barely lost to TCU. And TCU's ranked number 3. They lost to TCU 34-42.
Yeah.
They
That's what
lost
I'm
to
saying.
Maryland. They got blew out by UCF though, 41-19.
UCF was a top 25 team
Yeah, they're 22.
every other year.
They're
Oh,
regular-
they're 22 right now. Okay.
yeah, yeah. But I was saying, make the point that they almost beat number 3 TCU.
Yeah.
They beat Tulsa. They beat U of H 77-63. They beat South Florida. They lost to Tulane. So the only games they really lost were against
Tulane is won the conference.
opponents. Yeah, they're number 18. They're ranked. They only lost to ranked opponents and Cincinnati, who I would assume Cincinnati would almost made it to the top 25 by the thing I was just reading. So, and they lost that game 29-27. So,
it was plenty of other schools you could have held out on. That's all I know.
but I mean, if you get the $5 million bag, go ahead and run and go get that big dog. Go ahead and get that. I wonder what Travis Hunter's gonna do. That's probably the big story. What does Travis Hunter do?
Bama or Georgia?
Whatever school he was supposed to be going to. Shit. What, you gonna go to Florida State?
Oh yeah, I think it might have been Florida State.
Look, they already got the articles. With Deion Sanders gone, what will Travis Hunter do? Articles everywhere. Article. Oh shit, what's this? Oh, he left the game. Jackson State football. Travis Hunter leaves SWAC championship early with flu symptoms. Now he going to get on the phone with a couple of them coaches.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to get hurt.
He not fucking. Well, I wouldn't play there either. If I know I'm leaving and I'm going to a big school, I'd be like, I'm gone.
I think I'm thinking. I think Coach Sanders knew he was gonna leave in the beginning of the year because
he's been there for 3 years. Prime.
I think he knew he was gonna leave in the beginning of the year because Travis Hunter had been healthy for a little bit, but he held him out. Like he didn't want to play him as much because I feel like he kind of like ain't want him getting hurt even more being there with him, and he wasn't gonna be there long term and shit like that. Because it was a game, he was healthy, he was damn near 100%, and he set him out, and it was like a surprise thing. But I just wonder, like, if he set him a lot longer than he had to, because he was like, I know I'm gone. He gonna be gone. So let me make sure he good, because he is a big reason for me getting so much publicity. Because none of that, if he didn't get the number one dude, a lot of that conversation wouldn't even have been on him.
So I'm reading this thing about Travis. So it's like Travis Hunter is number one. So it's not even just him. They have a former 5-star wide receiver, Kevin Coleman, who will probably hit the market too. So they had a 5-star wide receiver and a number one cornerback. Yeah, they're going to be fine. It says Deion Sanders and his associates have spent the week. So this ain't even just some new shit. They spent the past week recruiting on-field staff, support staff, and transfer portal players to Colorado. That's according to Pete Thamel from, I guess, what's this?
They're just waiting for the season conference to be.
Yeah.
If SoundCloud offer y'all a podcast deal for $5,000 a year for 2 years, Bryce making sure D-Fran take it, even though a few years from now the podcast could bloom. Well, with your logic, a few years is longer than 2 years, so yeah, we taking the deal.
I wouldn't take that deal for $5,000 a year.
Shit, I'll take it.
That ain't shit. That's like what?
We ain't getting that now.
We get more money than that with Charles donating. I mean, he ain't donating. We ain't seen anything in 3 episodes, but still, like, I get more money than that. They're from Charles.
Now we got a flying low, got us fucking in a conversation that should even be
like
had on screen.
That sounds like a dumb deal. Like, I'm gonna sign you for $5,000. What are they gonna do for me?
Maybe marketing. Who knows?
$5,000. SoundCloud's like SoundCloud's like a dead app.
What do you mean? Like, what do you consider a deal?
SoundCloud's not as relevant anymore.
Like, that's my thing. Like, do we have to be exclusive to something? Is what you're saying? Like,
if you're trying to deal with a person like that, that's pretty. I think it's exclusive to them.
I mean, if that's the case, then that's a different conversation. But are they launching are they launching a new podcasting platform to get us more marketing or something to advertise along with the 5K? Like,
you got to think about that
be more than just 5K.
Will make more sense for Flying Low saying for us to wait to boom, because if you lock us into $5,000 a year, what if within the first 6 months we go from this many viewers to 200,000? It's like, fuck, we locked into this damn.
Well, I'm gonna be real with you.
More money.
I'm gonna be real with you. If that happened within 6 months, I'm not disrespecting us, but maybe that had something to do with us signing.
I mean, that would make sense. But I'm just saying now you locked in for fucking whatever.
It's 2 years.
Yeah, look at all the money we're gonna miss out. Well, what if our podcast dies by then?
I
Or
mean,
you say something about some other
you
crazy
technically
shit
can
we lose
sign a
all-
deal. You technically can sign a deal. It's only 2 years. So say we 6 months in, we got another year and a change. We could technically sign a deal after our lease and time is up, so we can be exclusive to them and we don't go into a free agency. You technically could do that. Like, so as soon as we done with that contract, we now with y'all. But like I said, if that'll be taking in a whole lot of things that I wouldn't even be considering, because if right now somebody came and offered us $5K for 2 years, obviously I wouldn't know what that was based off of, because that's just random as hell. But I don't see why not take it, especially when I consider it probably be other incentives along with that. Like maybe they flying us out somewhere and we hosting events and getting experiences and stuff like that. I would find it hard for me if we haven't got an offer, and I can see if we had some people like saying they wanted the offer and we may haven't got an official offer, but like if that was all we got and we wasn't even a buzz of it, then I don't know. I don't know. Because and then even then, like, bro, you can get out of it. If it's a 2-year deal, we can get out of that shit. Because look, this is what it's a 2-year deal. All right, well, they want us for this next year. This is what we worth to them. You pay them off, and we sign with y'all. Like, if it's only 5,000, I mean, our buyout's gonna be like 20,000. A company that really seen value in us will pay that, and we still get our money, no problem. A 2-year deal isn't like signing your life away, bro.
You said deeper making the mills doesn't keep out of negotiation. Like, but that's stupid.
I'm bringing great points to the table. Whether we take the deal or not, don't act like I ain't bring a foresight to the table that couldn't lead to some thought, man. That's all I'm saying. Like, I ain't saying I'm 100% firm on it, but I ain't just about to be like, nah, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, D-Friend said no, so I'm just gonna say no too. I'm like, well, what about this? What about that? And if we come to a conclusion it's still no, then it's no. But nigga, we're gonna talk about it first. Like, and these are also questions I'm gonna be asking them. Like, what like, all right, it's 5K. Like, bro, I can make that in 2 months. What other incentives are y'all bringing to us? Are y'all gonna get us more? Are we gonna be marketed on y'all platform as a top podcast or some shit? Are y'all building a podcast? Like, I'm gonna ask these questions too. I'm not just gonna be bringing them questions to D-Friend. And even then, that may get the money going up, because niggas gonna ask questions. Like, nigga ain't gonna be like, oh my god, it's 5K. I gotta sign now.
What was that, 5K? Because you got to think that's 5K for both of us. That's $2,500 each.
Oh, that's what he meant? I thought he
Yeah,
meant for both of us.
No. And then he said 5,000 a year for 2 years. So you think about that, but that's like
an extra 10K a year is great. Because honestly, what I'm looking at it is
10K.
more
Why
like
you keep saying 10K?
Because I'm looking at it as like each. I'm not signing a fucking deal for no 2,500. Like, that ain't no deal. Like, that ain't even a month worth of work. Like, what are we doing, bro? 2,500, bro. Come on, bro. I mean, I know some people that have signed $500 deals.
That's like $200 a month, nigga. We better start grinding on YouTube, make that $200 a fucking month. Like, come on. Even ain't gonna let you know. Till he trying to cause division. We ain't got no deals on table. We ain't got nothing on table. You trying to cause division already.
And then my biggest thing is, will we have to be exclusive? Like, we can drop our shit on y'all shit. We have to be exclusive though. That's just a question.
Yeah. So we ran longer than I guess we expected. I thought it was gonna get out of the hour, but we ran about hour 40 somehow. The Deion Sanders conversation got reinvigorated. Shout out Mike Drop Podcast in the motherfucking building, which probably the Wardo or the DK guy. I don't know.
So hey, I'm about to check the Instagram now, man.
But I was reading this thing. It said, last thing I'm out here. Deion Sanders is expected to be extremely active in the transfer portal. And remember, his current Jackson State roster has 7 former 4- and 5-star recruits, including the number 1 overall player from the 2022 class, Travis Hunter. Colorado just became a transfer hotspot. This is some verified guy who's he worked for? ESPN. To clarify, there are more than 7 former 4- and 5-star players on Jackson State roster. Those 7 are high school signees who haven't used the one-time transfer exemption. So these are 4- and 5-star players who transferred to him out of high school that have not, And then somebody was like, guess that guy's point about Oklahoma. I didn't even think about this. So he's like, Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma and took with him a Heisman candidate. So I would expect Deion will do the same or similar. But like you said, it's different money with USC and Colorado. You could take that number 1 Heisman quarterback, Caleb Williams, with you, who you was working with all that time, and say, hey, you're going to come to USC. You're going to sign this goddamn $2 million dollar NIL deal. I think that's a different, beast.
Nah, I do think it'll be a transfer portal, but I mean, you only can put so many people on a roster, and even then, like, let's be real.
You got to hope they mesh with the current team they got there because they fired the coach. They ain't fired the team unless you just start dropping people you signed, I guess.
It's gonna be you're gonna let some people go and stuff like that, but my thing is Colorado was already recruiting people and trying to get people there. I get Deion Sanders gonna be a big thing, but it ain't gonna be that much of a swift change in my eyes. Can't be that many spots opening up in Colorado.
Yeah. That's all we got for y'all tonight, man. So we went 3 times a week. We did the tier list. We did another podcast when Kanye was on Alex Jones. We did another one today talking about Deion and this, but we will be back on Tuesday. The number one story probably by then will be this takeoff guy, DJ Pat, got caught. A lot of people from Houston, I'm going to just say this right now, a lot of people from Houston are saying this is a lie. DJ Pat would never. He's the nicest guy I'm seeing all over Facebook, all over Instagram. They're saying free DJ Pat. He's the fall guy. He's been set up. We'll see. That's what people are saying. But we'll be back on Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Absolute Share Podcast. Also, hey, whoever's watching right now, I see 5 people watching right now. I don't know if y'all all subscribe to D-Friend Daily as well. I need 4 more subscribers to hit 500 over there. I just started using that one full time. So get that one to 500 subscribers. I need 4 more. So go do that for me. Please just type in D-Friend Daily. That's where I do my daily show over there. Shorts, clips, all that type of shit. Go over there. Bryce.
Emerald Gaming Reactions, man. We drop in every week. Live streams. Pull up if you want to get whooped in any game, because I will do that to you. I'm like that.
You getting spanked on Madden here. Rage quit the game when I was watching. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not about to play a game I know I'm about to lose.
You were losing on Madden. Homeboy hit a pick. He was talking shit. You running the same play. Homie ran that play 10,000 row, got a touchdown. Then back door hit a pick 6 on your ass. Oh, it's over.
No, it was. But the thing about that was I lost the game after that, which I bullshitting. But like the next 7 games I won. So I went 7-2.
I wasn't there to see though, so I can't confirm or deny that really happened.
The stream is still up, and I was blowing boys out. I had like 60, 70 points.
Oh,
so I lost.
Okay, it's been a rookie against little kids. Okay.
No, bro, it got so bad. There was like middle of the game, the Madden paused the game. That was like, we have underestimated your skill rank. We may have to elevate you. Give your opponent a chance to concede. I was like, all right, let me play a few games after that. I was still beating them niggas 21-0. So I don't know, man.
We'll see. But we'll be back Tuesday, man. I'm back on Monday with my shit. Make sure I go check that out as well. Bryce,
he ain't gonna play me.
Who? Me? I'm not. I'm not a gamer. I'm right now in this stage of my life. I'm a researcher. That's what I do in my life right now. I'm researching China, communists, Hitler, Stalin, how this happened, Mussolini, the people who was running Africa. I'm on my history shit right now. I'm just trying to see what's going on in the world. How does that correlate to what's going on in today's society? So we'll be back then. Appreciate y'all for watching.
I'll be on tomorrow. I'll be on live tomorrow.
All right, y'all. We out of here. Peace.